So with Bitcoin finally hitting 50,000 USD, I decided I really wanted to evaluate the halving price predictions, or try to establish if anyone could even predict how Bitcoin would be every 4 years. And there's too many unknowable variables, that's quite obvious from the get-go. But I just wanted to show you what could happen within some limitations and confined set of results. Okay, so you're probably here because you're extremely fascinated with the future of Bitcoin, the current prospects on the horizon towards a potential price prediction. Well, we're going to start off this video by just having a quick analysis of the last few days and the motivation about actually even starting this mini project, which is really not too extensive, by the way. Now that's out of the way, let's have a quick analysis of the masterpiece. As you can see, this is the Pine script that I myself and my other software developer friend Mixlo, we basically developed this a few months back. This is what the price that we're actually going to be basing our predictions off. And you can see that it's reaching a very decent price. And the whole point of me showing you this is the price that I'm going to consider for the halving in our metric once we go through trying to predict Bitcoin's price going forward. We're going to assume that in 2024 we're playing it conservative. After Bitcoin halves, we're just going to use £52,000 as a metric, and this is what basically the predictions will be solely based off. Because if we don't know this value, then the predictions are going to be based off a much lower valued coin, because we don't actually have a value for what the current halving would be after April, because it's not happened yet. So this is why I'm showing you this to begin with. Okay, so as with every program, you need fundamentally some sort of variables, some form of parameters, and for this we're just going to analyze basically the historical timeline of Bitcoin. And this is where we're going to have some form of tiny bit of information, because I just need to keep reiterating that there is only a tiny bit of information that we actually are going to use within these basic programs. The whole point of it is just to try and get feedback from everyone, to get our brains thinking how they can sort of improve and add other variables, metrics to this sort of basic, very fundamental idea of price prediction. So anyway, if we just have a look at the first brief price point, you can see it's here. And then if we, you can read this yourself. I'll leave the article for people in the description. But this is what we're going to base off our price predictions. The second half, in the type of stuff that was going around, if you would have put 100 quid in, you would have then made up to $4,000. So, this is all very cool stuff. All we're going to use in these specific examples, when you see the program code, we're just going to use prices and dates. That's literally what we're going to use. So a very conservative outlook at things, and that's what I just wanted the whole point to be, and to highlight some other issues that I have as well, because this being very conservative highlights down the line, for me anyway, a concern about the sustainability of the price lasting over to 2140. I think that's a very, very big question about the whole point of this video as well, is trying to allude to, but we'll get onto that in a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to give a quick overview into how you can influence subtly the type of prediction that you want to do, and it's obviously in the way that you set up the, first of all, parameters, the variables that are going to be making the predictions are going to be basically making off, and that's the key thing throughout it all. Now, I would really love to expand this with other variables and other metrics that are objective facts, but it's quite hard to quantify from my feeble mind and just from a coding perspective by myself to start implementing some extra metrics beyond this. But in all honesty, I haven't put a lot of time into this. It's more just like a quick will of the off the cuff thing in response to the fact that Bitcoin has hit 51,000 US dollars, which is quite a significant milestone considering it's not halved yet, which is normally the price as we're going off past data normally tends to increase ultimately after it halves. So Yeah, this is just a simple GUI, very simple. Let's just play the program. Okay, so it's this very simple GUI that you just click literally this and it does it. Estimate a price based off the initial parameters set for 2012, and what would 2,140, what would the price be based off it, halving in 2012, blah blah blah. What would the price be based off it halving in 2016? And what would the price be? Because all it's doing is basically after every 4 years, the increment, it's going to consider the past data and therefore create the price prediction. Pick what type of year you wanted. So, for example, if there was a really cool year and you wanted to use that to predict, um, Bitcoin's price in general, it's completely separate from any halving or anything like that. Just like stuff like you can do tons of different experiments basically, and this is just the first example of that. And then as you get on to the post halving version of the script, it's just subtly different. As you can see here, this version of the code is just going to predict the price for a 4 year increment from the initial start date, but it's just going to use the parameters individually, and it's just going to carry on doing that basically. So that's another aspect of messing around with the code to do different stuff. And I just wanted to just show you that, guys, that so you can play around with it. The key I think here is it's not this sort of aspect. It's more about the extra information that we can inform to make these predictions better rather than just prices and dates. So this script is basically now going to start accounting for our new data set, if you want to call it that, which is the idea of Bitcoin being 51,000 at the point of halving, which is extremely conservative, as we've stated earlier. The point of the matter is that now it's going to start considering this as well, rather than just 2012, 2016, 2020. We're now going to consider that the point of halving is going to be over £51,000, just for the sake of this. And now, from this point onwards, we can start to see that the price is going to go up quite a lot for the predictions automatically. And just imagine if we had other aspects to this data and it was, you know, incremented more accurately with extra data and extra variables. And that's the whole point of this video, which I would like to try and ask for other like-minded people to try and give me some extra direction in how we can do this, because this is purely just taking into account the dates and the price that I've just given it. That is it, pretty much. Yeah, this is one of my major concerns as well, is the fact that, conservatively speaking, the fact that it's going over £100,000 according to this for the next time it halves, and that's just off 50 odd thousand. Then what would it be like by the time it reached 2,140? It's going to be a very expensive asset according to that. And is that realistic? Is that feasible? Is that scary? Is that, what is the response to that? I do not know. And that's the whole point of why I wanted to make this video, basically. So, in summary, you can see that the estimated halving price for 2028 would be over £100,000, and that was just based off the really limited amount of information that we put into the script. And we need more sort of gaugeable, if it's the best way to describe it, information that we can sort of include into these basic scripts. Yeah, this is just a very conservative estimation. I do believe that by 2028 it'll be extremely high, around £100,000. I think that's quite conservative as well, in all honesty. But that's just my personal view, and it is extremely biased in towards this programming stuff. So you should really have a look at the GitHub if you are interested, and just see how they can be easily changed around to achieve different results, and also to just play around. And it's very simple, and enhance it if you want. It just pops in my head one day today just to be like, well, can we just price predict what it would really be like every 4 years, sort of thing, based off just purely dates and um, very limited prices and maybe just a conservative price estimation for 2024. And I forgot that we're going to need all the time, I think, ultimately, a price per that year every 4 years that needs to be generated. So I will probably do a part two with that in mind because I think that's the step forward. Anyway, thank you very much for stopping and taking the time to enjoy the video. Please give your constructive criticism towards aspects of improving this. And I truly hope it's a profitable year for everyone. Keep towing the crypto along. There's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of BS out there. Keep towing crypto along. Keep putting on a good image and impression for all the young people. And, don't be too degen and toxic, guys, because it's just, at the end of the day, a community at large that we need to look after each other, look out for each other. There's a lot of scams, just like there is in other aspects, parts of life as well. So take it easy.